How's it going, everyone? It is me, Stateside here, and we're going to be taking a look at my overrated 11 for this Premier League season. Starting off in net, we got to go with Emi Martinez. I think he's extremely overrated. I think he's riding the coattails of a World Cup victory that, yes, he had a lot of credit into that, but I just don't think he's that good. I think he's a penalty specialist. Fine, keep him in cups. Keep him on the bench for a cup, but I think that going forward, Villa could do better, and I think he wants out. I think he overrates himself, and that's why he's on this list more than anything, is he rates himself too highly. So Emi Martinez definitely on that list for me. Up next at the right back spot, we got Nico Williams. Nico Williams, I think, despite being 22 years old, I think people rate him so highly. I think people give him a lot more credit than he deserves at the moment. I think that he's going to come good. He's going to be a good right back, but do I think he's the level of a lot of the players he's being compared to? No, I don't. He's got half a key pass per game, one key pass every 2 games, if you will. 3 big chances created this season from the right back position. I mean, it's just not great overall, but I do think he will come good. I just think right now he is a little bit overrated. Moving along to the center back positions, we got Senesi of Bournemouth and Anderson. Anderson, he's just a long ball merchant, let's face it. He starts every year making some excellent passes. People are like, wow, he's such a great passer on the ball. And then he just kind of goes into his mediocrity, which he is. Senesi, I think gets over too much credit for Bournemouth. I think that a lot of the credit needs to go to Neto. I think Neto deserves almost all the plaudits for Bournemouth's season in defense. Even then, it's not a great defensive record for Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth's defensive record is overrated as well. I don't think they did a great job defensively. I think they got fortunate, to be quite honest with you. Moving along to our left back position, this one's a tough one for me to say. I think Anthony Robinson's pretty overrated. I think that the fact he's getting links to Serie A is absurd because Serginho Dest isn't even getting minutes at Milan. But Anthony Robinson's going to get minutes there. I don't see. I think Robinson's not as good of a player as Dest. I don't think he's as good of a player. I don't think he's as good of a player as some teams think that are looking at him right now. In for our midfield, we got obviously a midfield 3 running a 4-3-3. First midfielder, Dewsbury Hall. I just don't think he's as good as he may be perceived. He obviously got a lot of minutes for Leicester this year, but he's 20. I think people forget he's like 24 years old. Like he's not a wonder kid. He's nearly 25. He's nearly halfway to 30. He's nearly halfway to 30. I don't see him being that good as people believe. Moving along to our next midfielder, we're going to go with Philip Billing. Again, I think he's overrated as a mid. Yes, goals and assists win you games, and he was the highest goal scorer for Bournemouth with 8 goals, but I think he's overrated, and it doesn't. I think his goals overshadow the story, if you will, of Philip Billing. I just don't think he's the player that people think he is, and I just don't think he's that great. Possibly the most controversial one here now. Obviously, there's another one that's going to be controversial in attack. We'll get there in a bit. Actually, there's quite a few. Actually, you could argue all of my attackers are kind of controversial. Alexis McAllister, I think he's just not as good as people think. 10 goals, 2 assists this season, which looks good if you just look at that number. 10 goals, 2 assists, pretty solid. 6 penalties. 6 penalties. If you compare him to attacking mids and wingers, he's got excellent pass attempts, excellent pass completion, and good progressive passive numbers. And he ranks highly in tackles among attacking mids and wingers. However, low on progressive carry, 17%. Low on the, decent on the shots, but non-penalty XG and non-penalty goals, not that great. Aerials 1 is all right. Interceptions is all right. Blocks and clearances, not great. So defensively, he's mediocre still compared to your attacking mids and wingers. And attacking numbers aren't as great compared to your attacking mid and wingers. If you play him as an 8, his defensive numbers are even worse. His passing attempts and completion percentage is lower. Yes, his non-penalty expected goals and his non-penalty goals are higher percentiles. His shots numbers is in the 99th percentile, but still, even then, I just don't think. I think the issue is he's a lot like Thiago, and Thiago's, to be quite honest with you, I think he's been a failure at Liverpool, and it's not just because of the injuries. I think that Alexis McAllister is going to be the same issue. He's not going to be doing exactly what he's not going to fit really a system. He's just kind of like a player that's good, but is he good enough? And that's the issue that Liverpool, I think, are going to run into with Alexis McAllister. As for our right wing position, I've got to go Gabriel Jesus here. Let me pick up his stats. 11 goals, 6 assists. Look like really good numbers, but unable to stay fit. His scoring spells were hit and miss. I mean, he goal and assist on the last day. He had a window against West Ham, Liverpool, and Leeds where he scored 4 goals in 3 games. But a very streaky player. And I just don't. Two assists against Nottingham Forest back in October. Obviously started the season well for Arsenal, having 2 goals and 2 assists against Leicester. Just those numbers were very, put together. They were very tight numbers overall. I don't think people realize, I think people rate him way higher than they should have. There were a lot of chances he should have scored. He missed 16 big chances and scored 11 goals. That's really poor. If he scores half of those, he's at 19 goals, and he's, I think, Arsenal's leading scorer. If he just scores half of those, he scores 4 of those 16 chances he misses, and he's Arsenal's top scorer. And I just don't think he's put up the numbers that he needs to going forward for Arsenal. As for my striker position, Brennan Johnson, I think, is extremely, extremely overrated. 8 goals, 3 assists. He's not even Nottingham Forest's top goal scorer this season. And he may be out the door for them. Awani, scoring double digits, going on fire here at the end of the season. I think he could be a starter going forward for them. You could see maybe Brennan Johnson get put out on the wing. But he's definitely not a striker going forward for Nottingham Forest. And then lastly, my winger, who's pretty much lost his position at this point, Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey's pretty basic choice there for me. 8 goals and assists this season, 4 goals, 4 assists to be specific. I don't think he's as good. I think he scores every time he gets a goal or an assist, it gets posted all over social media. People are talking about him. I don't think he's all that. And I think he gets extremely overrated because when he does score assist stuff, people hype it up. But he's just not that great. And this Leon Bailey's based on what I see on social media. I was struggling for a left winger. I think there's a lot of good left wingers, but there's also a lot of bad ones. But there's none that are people rate higher than they should. If anything, I think left wing might have one of the most underrated positions across the board, just by fans in general. Obviously, you have your Martinelli and your Marcus Rashford that are on that left wing, but other than that, I think everybody else is pretty rated all right. If anything, there's a lot of underrated options. Your Jota, your Luis Diaz. Well, Luis Diaz has been injured, but your Harvey Barnes, so on and so forth. But anyways, guys, that's all I have in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like down below and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video. I obviously hope you enjoyed. I think we're at 56 or 57 subscribers right now, and I'd really love to hit 60 by the end of the month here in June. We're going to try to be as consistent as we can. We're about halfway through the month. Actually, screw that. We're not going for 60. We're going for 65. I want to get to 65 by the end of the month. So that's going to be about a sub every other day. Hopefully we can do that. But let me know what you guys think again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.